Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. If I had a theme song, it would be All in Snaps. Can somebody get on that for me? Okay, thanks. So anyway, I just wanted to do a little Booktube update. I mean, it is, what is it today, the 7th? I think it's the 7th of January. Oh my lord, the time's going so fast. It's the 7th of January. When your screensaver is yourself. So anyway, I just like to remember the best days of how I looked, you know, back in the day, since I'm the old man of YouTube. So anyway, listen, let's get right into this. I am on my 3rd audiobook of this year, okay? And I cannot sing its praises enough, okay? I cannot remember who the author is, but it is called The Woman in the Night, and it's by like AJ somebody. Here, I'll get it for you, and you guys can all go out and buy it tomorrow, read it, get it on your Kindle. I don't really care. I'm telling you right now, this is the book that everybody needs to be listening to. It's The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. Let me show you the cover of it, okay? Which is really nothing to be bragging about. But anyway, I mean, it's okay. It kind of reminds me of like an 80s cover, like of a hardback that like my aunt and uncle used to have just like sitting around their house, you know? But anyway, this book is so fantastic, okay? And, you know, we always do like wrap-ups at the end of like reading for a month, or book reviews, which I've been doing lately, but we don't really talk about like a book as we're like going into it. I guess some people do, but I don't. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit of what this book is about, and I'm about a quarter of the way through it right now. It's about this woman, and her name is Anna, and she is agoraphobic, okay? And she lives in this huge house in Harlem in the park. And she used to be a child psychologist, or psychiatrist, I think psychologist. And her husband has left and taken the daughter, and she's kind of like in denial about the separation. So anyway, she watches, it's very much like Rear Window, the Alfred Hitchcock movie. She watches all of the neighbors like through this camera lens. But then she befriends this neighbor across the street that's just moved in, and you don't really know why, but I feel like there's something very sketch to it. Here's the thing, okay, the whole book is done to the backdrop like of like film noir, like 40s movies, and like all Alfred Hitchcock movies. The book opens with a quote from Shadow of the Doubt, and she's always watching a scary movie, and she makes a list of her favorite like Hitchcock movies and non-Hitchcock movies, and so it really builds the suspense, right? Well, here's this thing, okay? At first, I was like, this is going to be a copy of Rear Window. And then as I started reading into it, I was like, I think she wanted to do that. I'm not sure if AJ Riddle or AJ is a, Finn is a man or a woman. So I apologize to the author. But whoever AJ is, I think that AJ wanted to, I think the author wanted to build a suspense very much like a Hitchcock movie. And if you are a fan of Hitchcock movies, which I'm a huge fan, okay, they start off with kind of very much the mundane, but they slowly grow over time into this crescendo, and it's usually a musical crescendo in the movies too, right? Of all of this stuff going on. I said in my vlog last night, because I talk a lot about books that I'm reading in my vlog, and I was talking about this last night, that there's very much a feeling to me, reading this book, of Rosemary's Baby, where you kind of know that everybody has a part in whatever's going to happen, that you have no clue what that's going to be. She supposedly witnesses a murder, so like going into it, I was like, this is Rear Window, right? I mean, did you even see the cover? So, but like, it isn't like that at all. It really isn't of that at all. And so I'm like, so why did the author want us to think along the lines of Rear Window? Like, it's almost like they built that up to be that way, and it's kind of not. And then she has like this tenant that lives in her house that's very helpful, but very mysterious. The overzealous friend, neighbor that keeps on coming over, but even she's very mysterious to me. It's like, you don't, and like the ex-husband that's kind of gone, and I mean, you don't really know the story. It is so well done, you guys. I drove around in my car for 3 hours last night because I didn't want to stop listening to it. That's how good it is, okay? So anyway, oh my God, look at this little guy down here. Pee-Pee, do you guys see him? He's sitting there in the corner. He's like, hello. Do you want to come over and be in the video, Pee-Pee? Come here, honey. Come here, honey. He says, sometimes, Dad, I just like to watch. You want to be, but you like to sit up here? Yeah, he says, I want to sit up there and be in the video. Okay, so anyway, if you guys haven't watched my videos for a while, or you just learned, we found out that Lil Pee-Pee has heart disease, so we're giving him his medicine, and he's getting lots of rest and relaxation. We're trying to take care of our little buddy as much as we can, right? So you can live a long and happy life. All right, so anyway, which he loves doing Booktube videos. So that would be my number one first recommendation of 2018 is go out and get The Woman in the Window. I called my best friend last night. She loves mysteries. I said, Tanya, I said, you have to get this book. And I mean now. And she goes, my God, you just told me to get that Emma in the Night. She goes, I just finished reading that. I said, well, did you like it? She goes, yeah, I loved it. I said, you got it. This is 10 times better. Don't you love when you have a friend like that? And it's so interesting because this girl reached out to me today on Goodreads and she left me a message and, oh shoot, I would love to read it, but it's kind of private. But she basically said, you know, like I don't really have anybody in my life that reads books. Me too, except for Tanya, and we read completely different things. And she's like, I don't know who to ask, and I really want like a paranormal thriller, maybe where there's a death, and I know that sounds morbid, and I was like, no, I totally get what you're saying. It's like when I'm going to like Bermuda or something, I'm not going, but if I was going to Bermuda and I wanted to read a book about scuba divers in Bermuda and I didn't know where to find a book, and then I reached out to somebody and they're like, oh, The Deep by Peter Eventually, right? So all of us out there, I mean, like that's the great thing about Booktube and Goodreads and Bookstagrammers is like reach out to all of us, you know, and so I think that we will be able to help one another with all of that. So anyway, that's the first book recommendation I want to say. Oh, and I recommended to her, well, I recommended to her Paula Hawkins' Into the Water, and then I also recommended to her The Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. I did not like it, but she said she wanted Paranormal with a Death, and that's got it in it. So that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to talk about, just doing a little Booktube update. The second thing I wanted to talk about on here was that I had said I'm going to read a classic every month for the year of 2018. Now, I have picked 2 classics this month. The exits are there and there. So I have picked 2 classics for this month, and the first one is 1984 by George Orwell. I'm going to purchase it tomorrow because I can't find it anywhere in my house, and I know I have it. And the second book that I'm going to be reading at the end is Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. And it was one of my mom's favorite books. She was a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan. And I love her to pieces. And so, I love, obviously. But she loved the book to pieces. She even said, like, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater was better than Slaughterhouse-Five. But I've heard it's a more difficult book to get into. So I want to read Slaughterhouse-Five, Breakfast of Champions, and then we'll work our way into God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. So anyway, that is what's going on with me on Booktube right now. My goal is to read 10 books a month. Or 10 books a month so that I can hit 100 books. My goal on Goodreads is 101. So I'm super, super excited about that. And yeah, I am going to, I wanted to do 2 shout outs. And one is Kevin, the Irish Reader. I know a lot of people know who he is. And I said I was going to shout out, you know, lesser known booktubers. And he's not lesser known, but he and I are doing a buddy reads. I am also doing a buddy reads with Damien Terraquez. I'm sorry, David. So anyway, and I don't know we haven't picked what books we're going to do yet, but I'm wanting to like start filling the winter and spring with buddy reads. I love doing buddy reads. It's a great way to get to know somebody. If you haven't done one on Booktube, reach out to somebody and just say, hey, would you like to read a book with me? 9 times out of 10 people will say yes. I can't think that I've ever said no to anybody. I've just said yes to a lot of people, and I've asked a lot of people. Now, I will say a couple people have said no to me, but I've never taken it personally. They'll say, like, I don't do buddy reads or something, you know. Richard's media geek. So anyway, but I still love you, Richard. But anyway, you know, like, it's a really good way to get to know somebody, and like also it's a great way to have like a discussion. Now, I will tell you how I do buddy reads, and people don't like this, okay? You kind of say, we're gonna take this week and we're gonna start it on Monday and we're gonna read it and have it finished next Monday, right? And we can kind of talk between this, but I'm not one of these people that's like, let's do 5 videos. I mean, yeah, I'm not that professional. I'm not a professional, okay? So anyway, so I want to shout out Kevin, the Irish Reader first, and I will link his channel below. And then I also would like to shout out, oh my God, I found this new Bookstagrammer. Well, he's not new, but okay, his name is James Trevino. And I just, I cannot remember, okay, it's James _ Trevino. And I think Philippe, the YA reader, was like something about like shouted him out. And I don't follow a lot of Bookstagrammers, so I went to his account. So yeah, I'm just gonna put his Instagram account below, and you guys go check that out, okay? Trust me, you'll probably be following. No, I mean, it's very literate. It's lots of books and things like that, and it's a very interesting. He's a very interesting Bookstagrammer. I don't know what else to say. Go check out I'm going to start shouting out Bookstagrammers. I'm going to start shouting out book bloggers. And I'm going to start shouting out other booktubers. So the 2 for this video, the exits are here and there, are James Trevino, who his Bookstagram is awesome. It's very, very cool. And what I like about him is that he's a Bookstagrammer, but he's kind of a little different than most of them, and you'll see what I mean if you go to his Instagram. And then Kevin at the Irish Reader, who I also want to say has been so incredibly supportive to me lately, knowing some things that's going on with me on other parts of social media. So thank you, Kevin. You are awesome, and I just think you are such a compassionate soul. And I think that's what Booktube should be all about. So go follow those two guys out there, and in my next video, I will continue to shout out other Booktubers, Bookstagrammers, book bloggers. So I love you guys, and if you want to do a buddy reads with me, reach out to me. I'll talk to you later. Bye.